Hi, today I want to talk about some of the things that you want to have on your blog really before you start to look for traffic for it. It's all well and good to get off your blog and to go and find traffic, but if you haven't got some basic things in place on your blog when people arrive on it, you could be missing out on not only getting that person to come back again, but also getting that person to pass it on and to share it with others. So you want to have some of these things in place and keep improving these things as you grow your blog. They don't all have to be perfect when you start, but it certainly will make the efforts that you put into finding new readers more effective in keeping those readers. It's much easier to keep a reader on your site and to get them to come back again and again once you have them subscribed than to have to go and find a new reader every single time. So here's a few things that you want to think about and you might want to consider getting into your blog and putting into place before you go searching for lots of traffic. The first one is a bit of a no-brainer, and we've already really talked about it. But it's having content on your blog that is worth being found. We did a whole course on this in creating killer content for your blog, and so if you haven't done that yet, I encourage you to check that out, because we actually talk in that course about some of the types of content that people will share and that people will value. So you really want to have that type of content on your blog. The content that you have on your blog, you want to be thinking as you're running it, will people want to share this with others? Because that's a key in building a blog that lots of people come to. So that's the basic thing, the foundation, but here's some of the other things. You want to have quite prominent calls to connect with you and have some ways for readers to connect with you. Now, the most common one of these that all blogs really come set up with is an RSS feed. Little orange icon, it automatically can be found by some browsers, and so there's not a whole heap that you have to do there, but you do want to think about where you're going to place the call to action to subscribe for that. You might want to increase the size of the subscribe button. You might actually want to use some text, subscribe, or get free updates from our site. You want to think about the words that you use to get people to subscribe to those things and have them in a prominent position on your blog. But in addition to RSS, I really would recommend that you think about how you can give people the option to subscribe with email. Whether that's simply at first by having a RSS to email subscribe system, which FeedBurner offers, so you can sign up for that and actually create a little a sign-up form through FeedBurner that gives people those daily updates via email, or whether that's creating an actual email newsletter list using a system like Aweber, which lets you actually not just give people your RSS feed, but actually write to them something extra. That's what I do on Digital Photography School. I have this weekly newsletter, and 2/3 of all my subscribers actually subscribe to that. Only 1/3 subscribe to RSS. So you want to think about what's a familiar way that I can, a medium that I can get my subscribers, my readers, actually connecting to us. A way of getting your readers to give you permission to keep sending them stuff. That's really is a key. For me, it's email. If you have a bit more of a technology-based blog, RSS may be more appropriate, or you might want to also think about social media. More and more people now are getting their information, getting their links via Twitter, Facebook, other social networks as well. So you do want to set up some social media networks as well. That's my number 3 point. Think about the type of readers that you want to attract and what social media networks, what forums they're actually interacting in as well, but particularly the social media. And so set up accounts for those social media accounts. It might be Facebook, it might be Twitter, it might be LinkedIn, it might be all of those, or it might be something else as well. At this stage, at least have those accounts set up and have them linked to on your blog. Down the track you can do some fancier stuff with it, and we'll talk about that later in this course. The fourth thing I'd say is you want to have on your blog, before people even get to it, some way that they can interact, some way that they can actually do something on your blog. Again, we've got a whole course on creating community on your blog, which will look at a whole heap of different ways of doing this, but at the very least have a poll up so people can actually vote. Have a post that asks a question. Have a survey, have something that people can actually do. What I find is that if someone comes to your blog and they actually do something, whether that be vote in a poll or leave a comment, they're actually more likely to come back. They've invested a little something in your blog, and so they want to come back and see the result of that poll, or see what other people say in response to that comment. So any kind of interaction that you can get from people will increase the chances that they'll come back again. Number 5, have ways for people to share your content with others, whether that be simply by printing your posts and then they'll hand them to others, or whether that be by email a friend, or retweet this post, or like this on Facebook, share this on Facebook. All of those tools increase the chances that those who come to your stuff, who like it, will actually pass it on to their friends. Again, it will depend a little bit upon the type of reader that you have, and whether they're familiar with Facebook or Twitter, or maybe email's a better solution. But you actually want to be calling people to action in terms of sharing it with others. Now that's something that will come with time as well. You may need to educate your readers on what those little buttons mean. So you might want to write a post at some point about Facebook and how your readers can help you grow the site by sharing on Facebook. It may be that you want to create a post on 10 ways to get the most out of Twitter as a photographer, if you've got a photography site, and talk about retweet buttons and those types of things in that. So you do need to educate your readers a little bit on those types of features sometimes, if they're not au fait with that type of stuff. Another thing that you can have on your blog before readers get to it is actually a series of content, or be halfway through a series of content. A series of content creates momentum on your site. Someone will read an article, and then there's another one there that they can read, or there's another one coming tomorrow that they can read. You're giving people a reason to come back to your blog and view multiple pages. If someone reads 6 pages on your blog, they're much more likely to remember it later. They're much more likely to subscribe to it than if they just read 1 and then they leave. So you want to think about series of posts and interlinking your posts as much as possible to get people viewing as much content as you can. And the last thing I'd say is think about ongoing projects or regular features that you can add to your blog. On Feel Gooder, one of my blogs, on Fridays we ask a question. So we have this regular column, Feel Gooder Asks, where we get people, we share a story and then we get people interacting on that. People actually look forward to Fridays because they know that feature's coming. It may be a regular column like that, or it might be a competition. It might be a project of some sort where you're getting people to submit their ideas. All of these things give people a reason to come back again. They create momentum on your site and anticipation. And that is great for getting subscribers. If you've got something happening on your blog tomorrow or next Friday that people are looking forward to, they're much more likely to hit that subscribe button to get notified of it. They're just some of the things that I encourage you to think about adding into your blog before you start searching for readers. Really, the better your blog is before you go searching, the more likely people are to stay. Having said that, you can't have all of those things perfect before you start searching for readers. You can evolve them as you go along. So if you can't get all of those 7 things up and running on your blog before you go searching for readers, don't worry. You can add them as you go. But the more you're improving your blog in these ways, the more likely you're going to sort of get people to stick to your blog over time.